Hello and welcome. I'm Ashur Anam. Welcome to our Crystalline Matrix Activation, Healing, and Reconfiguration preview class. I'm excited about this one because this is the very first Crystalline Matrix where I'm adding a part 3 to it, where together we will come just connect and practice crystalline projection. So I will talk a little bit more about crystalline projection, but before I do that, I want to give you a brief idea about the crystalline matrix process. I know many of you have attended some of the preview classes in the past, so you have a pretty good idea. But then there are those who are joining for the very first time and you're pretty brand new. So I want to make sure that you get some background information. Okay, and I will share some of the things on the screen so you can also look at some of the things or some of the discussion point, or write down a few things about some research topics that you can look up. Okay, so about I think 7-8 years ago now, around 2011, 2012. When I was before I even officially launched Life Harmonized, I was playing with a lot of holographic concepts and looking at how to shift reality, playing with different crystalline energy. And I focused on doing some special tasks for the planet so that we can expedite our consciousness evolution. And at that time, playing with the crystalline energy, and especially our crystalline matrix, showed up. And then bit by bit, as I connected more into higher planes of consciousness and expanded more of my consciousness, and then played a lot with the reality and the way I talk about playing the hologram. So as I continued to do that, more and more structures, geometry, shapes, and everything else showed up. And I was shown that the way our skeleton system is the foundation for the physical reality, our crystalline matrix is actually the foundation for beyond this physical plane, beyond this reality. So, from a lot of research and ancient spiritual teachings and modern science, we know that our body holds crystals. Our cells hold crystals. DNAs, they're crystals that hold DNA information, and they're all over the place. So our basic structure has the crystalline energy. And using a Fibonacci spiral, it's a particular math, it's a sacred geometry, and you see that spiral everywhere, in the galaxy, everywhere in the universe, everywhere on Earth. And using that particular ratio and the Fibonacci sequence, a crystalline matrix forms. So you have central crystals for all the central organs in the bones and major parts of the body. And then around that, using that structure, the Fibonacci sequence, a crystalline matrix forms. So you kind of look like, if you remove the bones and, flesh, if you could make them invisible, then your crystalline structure would probably look like a very expensive chandelier, like a gigantic Swarovski crystal or something. So, as you play with the crystalline energy, you can strengthen your crystalline matrix. So what is the crystalline matrix? That's basically that structure that's beyond your fourth dimensional reality, because crystals hold a lot of data. And scientists have been doing a lot of experiments for a number of years, but they're publishing more and more data over the last few years, and they've been playing with sending signals through time using crystals. And then there are organizations and group of scientists that are talking about how crystalline projection is creating reality, creating a hologram. Some scientists have come up with what they're calling E8 crystal or E8 mathematics, and you can look up some of these research keywords too. if you would like to get more information or watch some of their videos. And some of the scientists made a lot of really great videos explaining how crystalline energy is actually one of the foundations for our reality, among other things. And they're talking about crystalline projection. So that also makes me even more excited, because the things that we have been doing for a number of years, and this crystalline matrix process that I've been running since I think 2012. Now it's not just a spiritual class, but with modern scientific findings and mathematics, it becomes more of a scientific class too. So now you can use a lot of these concepts to manifest. So ultimately, your goal could be, one is spiritual evolution. That's what this class has always been about. Let's look at what type of data and information that you're holding on to deep inside your crystals from your generation, from your ancestry, from your soul's journey, because there are all those connections that are there. So how do we go through the crystalline matrix healing, shifting, and reconfiguration process to release a lot of that data? It's almost like, if you think about crystals as tiny USB drives for your computer, or those flash drives. And then what you're doing is looking at those USB drives and seeing what information is there, right? And then you're looking at your hard drive and seeing what's beneficial, what's not beneficial. Does it have any virus? Does it have any malware? Does it have something that's not helping you? And you're uninstalling them. You're removing those non-beneficial programming. So with your crystals, as we go through the reconfiguration healing process, you shift a lot of that data that your crystals hold, and that you feel is processing, so that you basically can shift that energy. And it's more like you can look at it as free up your crystalline hard drive also, so that enhanced software could be installed. So when your crystalline energy is stronger and it's not holding on to too many of the old patterns and old programmings and things that are not beneficial anymore, then you can allow and embody and encode stronger vibrational and higher dimensional or higher planes of energy information from higher planes, and then your processing ability increases. So that way you can also open up a lot more of your senses, and you can notice that as you play with the crystalline energy, and as you play and enhance your crystalline matrix, then a lot of things begin to shift. And some of that would be a lot of core patterns, because this is your hardware we're talking about, not just some mental programming, but information that's in your crystals. They're actually hardware data. So when you can enhance that, it's like you're upgrading your computer from 5 gigabyte to a terabyte of computer memory system, okay, or a hard drive system. So I'm throwing some technology terms just to give you some examples. So one of the things about crystalline matrix is as we bring in this information and as we enhance the crystals, then we also strengthen the collective consciousness. Our Earth has a crystalline grid, and then we have all these connections throughout Earth, or human connection with all different life forms, let's say plant connections or plant consciousness, animal consciousness, and there are all these subgroups, collective consciousness of the roses, collective consciousness of dolphins and whales and elephants and so many others. All of those together, they're all interacting, and they're all continuously processing data. This is like a gigantic supercomputer that's processing so much information, and it's going through every one of us. All of us are a part of this gigantic supercomputer. Sometimes scientists these days also look at our reality like that. And then when you can enhance your processors, when you can add more memory, when you can upgrade your central processing power, so then you can process a lot more data. You can run things faster. Everything could work out more easily. So all of that option is available, even though the primary purpose behind Crystalline Matrix is really to look at spiritual evolution. However, with the Crystalline Projection that I mentioned, we will go beyond that, and we will look at sending out signals for your for manifestation. You can hold certain ideas and use projection to manifest. Now, we also have a new crystalline chamber that we have been using, and let me just show you a picture. I kind of like this picture. Just wrote down a few bullet points. If you want to take a look at it later, then you will refresh your memories. But think about this as the new crystalline chamber, and for me, when I do the crystalline matrix process, I take you beyond this level of consciousness and beyond our plane of existence. So even though that sounds a little like galaxy far, far away, even for spiritual classes, a lot of the processing for crystalline matrix actually does not happen in this reality or on this plane of existence. They happen on another plane of existence where your template is there, and that template, that crystalline template, goes through a lot of enhancements and a lot of high-tech things. So when I look at that energy, and when I look at that plane, and when I watch everybody going through the crystalline reconfiguration, it's almost like I notice this high-tech chambers, and you and your family members who are part of the crystalline matrix process, you're all together, grouped together, and then around you there are all these high-tech gadgets. They're scanning your crystals, they're looking at, for example, if something is chipped, something it needs to be repaired, something in your crystal is holding on to some core memory blocks that you can release now. They're not going to force anything out of your system, but when you are ready to shift some of those energies and patterns, then they will help. All those processes will help to almost like flush out information from your crystals and your crystal network and your crystalline matrix, so that you can actually enhance your entire crystalline matrix. So around you in that crystalline chamber, there are all kinds of gadgets. They're constantly scanning you. They're sending a lot of sound vibration for sound tuning. They're sending a lot of frequencies for frequency tuning, different light frequencies for all kinds of tunings. So you get all of that in that chamber. And we spend a lot of time in that chamber, going through crystalline matrix healing and reconfiguration process. And from that chamber, through one of the core stars that we play with or explore, then small batches of data gets transmitted to you on this physical plane, and it happens for over a period of a few weeks. So that's why, even though a lot of these changes are very core level, but since you're getting like small packets of data or small amount of data upgrades, continuously for a few weeks, then your system can process that energy more easily, instead of getting overwhelmed that, oh my goodness, like there's just entire crystalline matrix information just got upgraded, because that's a major upgrade. It's kind of like you have one operating system, and then suddenly you're upgrading to another operating system, and then everything looks different. So that's not the case here. You get the information bit by bit, and some of the information that you get in this class, you may not need that information for 3 months, 6 months, 3 years, but when you need that, then your system will have that information. So it will be like a zipped file. Then your system can unzip and look up the information, because the calculations, the data, the upgrades, the enhancements, they're all coming from a different plane of existence, where we are all looking to reach, or talking about we want to get there. It's coming from there already. So that's why, even though the process is very deep and very powerful, it's very smooth generally, so that you can notice the shifts. And the other thing, though, I should mention that sometimes, I've also heard from a lot of participants that as they go through the crystalline process, some of the old patterns that you thought you have resolved, they can come up to the surface, because they're getting transformed and resolved and dissolved and flushed out of your system. So since they're coming out of you, or from your crystals, to the surface to get transformed and lessons learned and get flushed out of your systems, you can notice some of those patterns. You can suddenly have thoughts that, oh my goodness, I thought I resolved this. Suddenly, why am I feeling the stuff that happened 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, when I resolved them? Well, yes, you may have resolved them, but some core components could be still suppressed deep inside you. So imagine when you actually let go of all this suppressed energy and information and memories and patterns, then you also free up your system a lot, so you can shift your reality more easily. Okay. So that's about the chamber. And as we collectively begin to bring in more of the enhanced energies and stellar energies, and those of you who meditate, you can notice maybe that when you go through crystalline matrix process, your meditation could be deeper. You can tune in more, with the environment. With practice, you can begin to notice more. You can hear sounds. You can see more information, and it's just a matter of practice. If you want to practice, you can open up all those senses. Many years ago, I used to tell myself that I don't see information or energy, I don't hear anything, I don't smell anything, I don't notice anything, until I figured out how my brain processes the information. And then as I practice, I opened up a lot more of my senses, so that I could look at information, and I could see videos from different timelines. I could pull information from chakras, from different systems, or connect with different stars and notice different matrix of information, or communicate with them and look at what's available, how can we harness the energy to shift reality and all that. And that's not anything special that you can access. It's just a matter of practice. So as you practice, you can shift your energy, and you can open up all these senses more. And as these senses are opening up more, then you can send out stronger signal about what you desire, whether it's around abundance, around bringing in new information, around alignment, around health and wellness, around relationship and collaboration. Doesn't matter what that is. That energy that you send out, and the intention or the vision that you transmit, that gets a lot more powerful, so that the cosmic energies can be attracted towards you and bring you a lot of the solutions. Okay, so you can attract enhanced solutions towards you more easily, because what you send out, it's not going to be convoluted with all kinds of stuff. And again, as I mentioned, that you want to make sure that you practice. So that's why, for especially crystalline projection, we have an extra practice class, this time. So, I mentioned about some of the benefits there on the website about, releasing a lot of the non-beneficial, harmful, or limiting programming, and a lot of the stored, trauma, shame, guilt, betrayal, and other patterns that are in your crystals. You let go of them. We look at enhancing Earth's grid. We are all connected to different parts of Earth's crystalline grid. And as we look at shifting these energies, your primary crystalline connection to Earth's grid, those points is also included, and your secondary connections are also included. And your primary connection, those of you who don't know it, it's like when you enter Earth's atmosphere, the environment, the planet, the very first connection that you made on Earth's grid, that is your primary connection. It's like going to a new country, and the very first Wi-Fi connection that you make, that's your primary connection. So you have a primary connection somewhere on Earth's grid. It doesn't have to be where you are now. It may be somewhere where you have never visited, but your soul connection or higher vibrational connection that first came down on Earth in a physical form, that energy, that consciousness created an anchor point on somewhere on Earth's grid. So those points are also included. And as we come together from all over the world, except for the continent of Antarctica, people from participants from all over the world join. So we do help the planet a lot. And we also bring in a lot of high dimensional and high vibrational energies, encode them, and shift a lot of things. So you can read up some more about the benefits and everything on the website. But now let me talk a little bit about crystalline projection. First of all, in this crystalline matrix, we will go back to the Orion's belt and the central star Al-Nilam, through which we will access the crystalline energy, and we will use the belt. And our crystalline matrix, this particular one, is going to be infused with a lot of the Orion's matrix of alchemy, magic, and miracles. So then you can encode or integrate a lot of those energies for your crystals and play with that energy. So what is crystalline projection? That showed up more recently for me. I started talking about more recently. Over the last few years, I talked a lot about projection. But when it comes to crystalline projection, think about your crystalline matrix, that chandelier I mentioned. Think about being able to turn on the entire crystalline matrix. So imagine your transparent, your flesh and blood and bones. You can't see them. You can just see the crystalline matrix. And when you have the crystalline projection method integrated and installed in your system, it's like a tool for you, or it's a method for you. However you want to say it, it's up to you. But then using the activation phrase, you can simply turn on your crystalline matrix the way you can call some of the holographic tools like the Rings of Harmony, or the Dream Seeder, or restoring our abundance, or restoring our magic. And you don't have to go through, let's say, half an hour of meditation. You could if you want to, but you don't have to. And they can just simply run it for you. The holographic tools and processes make everything much easier and simpler for you. So in a similar way, as I have been playing and testing projection, I've noticed that a lot of times as I go deeper into that energy, it works out faster. Like for example, earlier this year, my sister and brother-in-law, they were looking for a house, and they had difficulty finding it. And then they pretty much finalized a home, but they were not really 100% happy with it. They wanted to do a lot of work in the backyard now because they have two little kids, and they want to get things set up. And then I thought, well, let me use the projection, and I sent out some signals, and then a different house showed up for them, and it had all the things that they wanted. It had the type of backyard they wanted, and the backyard was fully done, so they didn't have to do anything. They just moved in. It cost them a little extra, but they didn't have to spend any extra time or do any renovation or construction or anything. They just moved in. Now, in a similar way, when my mother was looking for a house, and she's been thinking about something for a number of months, then I sent out the crystal projection, and then suddenly my sister recommended a house that, oh, look, this one looks good. What do you think? And then she liked it. So then interestingly, things work out easily and in more like fun ways. One of the things I have done recently, that's just about a week ago, is I went to the car dealership, and I got my car 4 years ago. I had 3 years of warranty and everything included, so that means I'm out of warranty. So the annual checkup and everything that they needed to do, so that was going to be my out of pocket, because last year they sent me an email and letter saying that, okay, you don't have any warranty after September, so you're going to have to pay for everything unless you get the new warranty, extended warranty. I sent out a crystalline projection, just wondering, like, now here's the thing. I wasn't getting caught up in what is supposed to happen and all that. I was just playing. I wonder how I can magically manifest everything where, the dealership and the company just takes care of everything. I don't have to pay anything because I'm paying a lot for the car anyway. So then guess what? I went to the dealership. They looked up their system, and they said to me, the service manager said to me that, my computer system says your plan is still active. It's interesting. So it's not going to cost you anything. And we're going to do all these extra things for you since you already have the coverage. So, I just smiled because it's fun to see different things showing up in different ways. And the key here is, though, you want to play. I always talk about it. You don't want to get caught up in, oh my goodness, this is what's supposed to happen by tomorrow morning, otherwise everything's going to collapse. That's like scary lack and limitation energy. You don't want to go there. Even if something major happens, move back, take a step back, breathe in and out a few times, ask what kind of magical solution can happen, and then play with the energy. So when I integrate the crystalline projection, then you will be able to simply turn on the crystalline matrix, your entire crystalline matrix, then think about that entire crystalline matrix lights up. So I have an image here, right here. If you think about, like, you're looking at yourself vertically, and this is your crystalline matrix. So, around you, you have this, bright, shiny, gorgeous crystalline energy and crystalline matrix. You can imagine or visualize or feel or sense that that entire crystalline matrix is lighting up. And then what we will practice after part 1 and 2 on Sunday, after part 2, is how do you hold certain energy, how do you hold certain thought, and turn on the crystalline matrix and just hold that thought, hold the feeling, hold the energy, hold the visual, and focus on the entire crystalline matrix. Means every crystal, within every cell within your field, every crystal is holding the same image, holding the same feeling, holding the same idea, holding the same information, and you're just sending out ripples from every single crystal in your entire body, in your entire field. And that becomes, super, super powerful when you practice. So again, the key here is practice, this is something you want to practice. So, you will have access to day 3 of the crystalline matrix projection. Day 3 is going to be a video class so that I could show you and I could talk to you more. And maybe I can show you some visuals also about projection. So you can send out that energy. Okay, so that's what I wanted to share. And if you want to find out some new information, not necessarily new, but some information that our scientists are publishing now, they're coming out more and more with some of that energy. Now you can look up time crystal or time crystal research in some of the newspaper and media. It was published, I think, a year ago or a couple of years ago. About scientists being able to send time information through time using crystals, and then the E8 crystal or E8 math. The research scientists here, they're publishing a lot of information, and they have actually created some really nice movies around some of the crystalline energies and crystals and projections. So you can watch those short movie clips too. Okay, so that's basically what I wanted to share today. The crystalline matrix is always exciting to me because we go through major changes and enhancements, and this is one class where you can enter up to 5 family members. So the ones that are living in your household, like could be your spouse, kids, parents if you have your parents with you. Then what I do is I isolate every address and every person before the class. So that's why the last day of registration is Friday. I'm going to close registration by midday, like more like morning-ish, but maybe like midday Eastern. Then I download all the data. So once you register, you want to fill out the form with your information, with your family information. Even if you have filled out the form in the past, because we need that information, that's the information that I will send to the crystalline consultant or the person who does the crystalline matrix measurements. So he has been doing that for since the beginning for like 6 years. So then the information that you enter on the spreadsheet in the database using the link that you will get after you register, your name, your address, and the names of the family members, how many times you have gone through the class, what was your last measurement. If you're attending for the first time, you don't have a last measurement. So you enter that information, and it does a before and after measurement for you. And within a couple of weeks of part 2, then you get an email from our system, explaining or giving you the new information about what your measurement was before the class, your crystalline energy measurement, and what it is after the class. And don't compare. Don't compare with your spouse or kids. Little kids have higher, have higher crystalline energy, and when they're going through a lot of the crystalline matrix processes, like kids, grandkids, that so many of the participants and for that in their form, when they go through the crystalline enhancement, then they have that energy. And they have all the processing done. They release a lot of the old patterns, trauma, generational things, ancestral things, and then they don't have to go back in their progress. So their crystalline energy won't go down as they grow up more, because otherwise what we have noticed is kids have higher energy, but once they cross 18, 21, then it drops significantly. Why suddenly does it drop? It could be, I don't know, well, it could be many reasons, but I've noticed that there's a significant drop. And we also get detached from the whole brain thinking after 7, 8. So that's also another reason where why crystalline energy begins to decrease, because we don't hold on to some of that energy and connections anymore. So No, last day is Friday, this Friday. So make sure, if you're looking to register, then you register on time and fill out the form right away. So I have that information, and Friday evening, Friday night, I process all the data. I set up the crystalline chamber for every one of you individually. And if you have family members, then your family members are grouped together with you. So, then the benefit is that when, let's say, something is shifting from one of the generations, the future generations won't have those traumas or those ancestral patterns in their system anymore. So, that really empowers us. Okay. And if you have attended the class before, where this is one class where majority of the participants begin to go through multiple times and continue to go through, like, every year, because the crystal energy goes up every year, after every class. And it's fun to see, how, let's say, after fifth, sixth, seventh iteration, then your crystal energy, maybe, it was at 5,000 or 3,000 or 6,000 when you started, then suddenly it's over 1 million. Then it's over 10 million at some point. It's over 20 million at some point. But, then what happens is when you go over 20, 25 million in crystalline energy, the way, this is measured, then it's not about the number anymore, but then you bring in very high vibrational energy, and you become a vortex on Earth, so that a lot of cosmic energy Earth receives from you and through you, that's coming in from higher planes of existence. So then you also do a huge service for the planet and the collective consciousness and for our growth. So when more of us come together and play together, we can shift the energy quickly. So for manifestation, we will go through day 3. As I said, on Sunday, we will have on 9th, September 9th, Sunday, we will have the crystalline projection class. And then we will go deeper into turning on the crystalline matrix, and then sending out signals, holding signals, sending visuals, looking at how to really hold certain energy in your crystals. And you can watch the video and practice with me. We will do a bunch of iterations around many different types of goals, visions, ideas, many different categories. And then you can practice on your own or with the video. And as you, practice enough, then you won't need the video anymore. You can simply turn on your crystalline matrix anytime and simply send out a strong burst of energy. And it can take you 30 seconds when you practice, and that could make a difference. It could take you maybe 20 seconds or maybe a minute, and it could be it can make a huge difference for you. And I will also talk about, how you can use some of the other tools while you're playing with crystalline projection. So crystalline projection can become a powerful tool for you to use with, other holographic tools, or use it in a meditation. Use it for signaling. Using it for, let's say, helping plants, animals, helping the oceans, tuning into different things, bringing in ideas, connecting with different cosmic energies, like, some of the stars that we talk about, healing star Maya, then Orion for alchemy, Regulus is, Royal Star Regulus for empowerment, strength, courage, and a lot. So, we have gone through playing with many different stars, so you can start to play with crystalline projection with some of the stars too. And you can amplify these energies, and your focus can get really stronger. Okay, so that's pretty much what I wanted to mention. If you have gone through the class in the past, then make sure you use your special link. If you can't find it for some reason, I think there was an email that was sent out to you on Sunday. Just look for the email. If you can't find it, just email support. And if this is your first time, then on the Crystal Matrix page, you will see the registration link, and you can register there. Okay. All right, so that's mainly what I wanted to mention. I'm really looking forward to the Crystal Matrix class. Again, we close the registration on Friday, so today's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. We have like less than 3 days, like 2.5 days. So make sure that you register early because a lot of times we get requests that, okay, I forgot, or this happened, that happened, I was traveling, and can I register now? Once I close the registration, because then I prepare all the chambers and everything, all of your family members are added. So there's a lot of preparation that happens. So once the registration is closed and the links are disabled, then I can't really add anybody. Okay. So make sure that you register in advance, and then for the next few days, eat healthy, drink healthy during the class. Eat healthy, drink healthy, because this is a week-long class, and your family members don't even have to go through the class, or they don't have to listen. They can listen with you if they want. That's great, but they don't really have to, because once I include them in the crystalline chambers, they are going to receive the benefits. So you will see that in the before and after measurements. And those of you who have gone through the class, in the past, many times you have already seen it. Okay. All right. So that's great. Let's. I will open up the line if you have any questions, or if you want to, share any experience around crystalline matrix. You can simply use the control panel and raise your hand, or you can also type it in the chat window. I will see if you have any questions. And otherwise, then we will go through a quick journey, and then we will play. How much is the class? So the registration information is on the page. If you're joining for the first time, it's $249, and there's one payment and two payment options. So you can look at all that information on the Crystal Matrix page. Okay. If a family member is out of the country during the program, will it still receive the benefits? Yes. It doesn't really matter. Once I include them, everybody's included, and wherever you are, you receive the benefits. And whatever you use as your address, as your primary address, that I also run a deep cleansing for that property. So also notice the energy in the property, and so that you can process the information more easily. All right, I think that's it for questions. If you have any additional questions, you can email support@lifeharmonized.com, and I will get back to you. Okay, awesome. Now let's do a quick journey and exploration. So in this journey, we will look at tuning into your entire crystalline matrix. So focus on your heart. Begin to breathe in and out deeply and gently. I will activate the harmonic shield for the entire group to create your personal power vortex. This way, high vibrational earth and other cosmic energies can flow through you and raise your energy. So just breathe in and out deeply and gently. Focus on your heart and begin to think about your body. Begin to think about your cells. And begin to think about the crystals that are in your body and that are in your field. They're all over you. Major crystal points are on your head, your hands, your shoulders, your heart. For all of your organs, there's a major crystal energy. Your chakras and meridians have major crystal centers. Your cells have a major crystal point. The nucleus within your cells have crystals. The crystalline energy is around your DNA strands. Simply imagine yourself tuning in to your crystalline energy. Ask your brain or your awareness, if I could see my crystalline matrix, what would it look like? Notice the response that comes to you immediately. If you're not sure, simply think about a fancy group of crystals going through you vertically and simply tune in to your crystalline energy. And as you focus on your crystalline energy, I would use the rings of harmony for your field to run a detox, a quick detox for your entire crystalline matrix. Notice your sensations, notice your feelings, and you can imagine dirty water coming out of your entire body, all of your cells, all of your crystals. And the dirty water representing old patterns, old programming, non-beneficial information, generational information that is limiting. All that energy and information is going into a recycling bin. And it's getting recycled and going back to source. Let's simply run this energy for a minute or so. Keep breathing in and out deeply and gently. And notice your sensations. I will now use the holographic program Restore Inner Abundance and create a vortex of that energy. And let's have that energy spiral through your entire crystalline matrix. So imagine or visualize all of your crystal points have this vortex of golden energy for abundance and possibilities flowing through them. This energy is spiraling through all of your crystals, in your entire body and your entire field. Let's simply stay with that energy for a minute. Focus on opening up a stronger flow of abundance in all areas of your life. For your finances, income, savings, relationships, love, vibrant health and wellness, spiritual growth, collaboration. Abundance shows up everywhere. Everything works out for you with ease and grace. Allow the energies to get stronger for you. Let's breathe in and out deeply and gently a few more times. Come back to your present moment. Rub your hands together and gently open your eyes. Welcome back. All right, awesome. So thank you for joining. Let me see if I have if there are any other questions. So if you have any additional questions about the class or anything about Crystalline Matrix, then you can email support@lifeharmonized.com, or you can also post on one of our private Facebook groups, like the Alchemy Graduates group, and then I will get back to you. Otherwise, I will see you on the class on next two Saturdays. We meet from 8 a.m. Pacific. Generally, like the class is usually around 90 minutes. There's a lot of processing that happens, but scheduled for like a couple of hours because sometimes there are a lot of interesting questions, and there are others who share their experiences, so we can all learn from each other. And then so that's on the 1st and the 8th, and then on the 9th we will do a special crystalline projection video class. And once you register, you'll get all that information on your member page, so you can practice with the video, and we will send out projection for different goals and visions, and let's really practice and make this a very, very powerful tool for you. And the other thing is, when we come together, many of us, hundreds of us or thousands of us, when we come together and start to send out projection about what we desire, around politics, around government, around environmental harmony, around purifying our oceans, around purifying our air, around purifying our food, around organic living, around helping kids, around healthy meals for kids in school, around so many different things, eco-friendly solutions, and not just eco-friendly but human-friendly too, solutions that work for earth and us and plants and animals. So solutions that are more biodegradable. So when we start to focus on some of these ideas, then we can really make a huge difference. And one thing I would like to do is, after the projection class, I will post some of the things that you can work on, and collectively we can work on. So, we can also participate in that. So that way you can also build up your projection skills. Because one thing that I've noticed, and it's true in my life too, because initially I wasn't even thinking about launching any company. For me, my thought was I was in the IT, industry for media companies. So, I thought I would, launch some kind of a technology business, make a lot of money and take that money and help a lot of the eco-friendly causes. So. And then information changed, how things showed up to me changed, my path got more refined. So as we as I played for just helping the planet and helping raise collective consciousness, more and more tools, processes, ideas, and different levels of connections showed up for me. And then they opened up for me because I wasn't doing things for my personal benefit. So I was looking at the collective consciousness and collective energy and Earth as a whole. So when we start to play that way, now let's help our collective consciousness. Let's help our home, the Earth, the planet, because this is where we are now. So when we start to focus on global causes, then more and more things open up, and you don't have a personal agenda or what you're supposed to get in return. You don't have those energies attached. So your system is free. You're not focusing from limitations at that point when you're really tuning into our energy and simply from your heart, choosing to help the planet, help collective consciousness, help, bring in harmony for different faiths, different groups of people, bring in a lot of solutions for kids, for schools, and for so many other things. So when you do that, then you can really enhance our skills and intensify the your ability to send out the projection, and you can enhance your skills to manifest more easily, and then you can use those in your own life too. Okay, so let's play a lot that way. Let's create a lot of magic. And I will see you on the call. I will see you on the hologram. And do remember that registration closes on Friday, so register as early as you can. And then we will start playing together next for the next week or so. And then after part 2, we will play with projection. And then you do make sure to use projection every day, so that you develop your skills and you become a master in manifesting with projection, running some of the tools, while you project some ideas, and simply tuning into different cosmic energies with projection and playing that way. Okay, so take care, have a magical rest of your day and rest of the week. Bye.